Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays, the first one of 2023. I'm excited to say. I call it Star Wars Saturdays because we usually play on Saturdays and we play Star Wars games or games set in the universe galaxy of Star Wars. You see, every month I choose a different RPG system and either hack it or reskin it so that we can tell a story about some characters that exist in a place long, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away. This month, the first of 2023, we're playing something a little different from the normal style of Star Wars games. We're playing the bad guys. We are playing a game called Red Air, which I found on Itch. Red Air is a companion to a game called Afterburner, which I will definitely be running later this year. Afterburner is a game that uses mechanics to tell stories about X-Wing fighter pilots, but Red Air is all about hashtag serial numbers filed off TIE fighter pilots. And it has some interesting mechanics vis-a-vis sedition and punishments for those who fail the Empire that this group of hardy friends and fellow players have decided that we are cool with trying. Now, safety tools are in effect, and all of these characters are part of a fascist police state, the Empire. The time setting of this game is post Return of the Jedi, but not quite to Mandalorian. And I'm borrowing a little bit from the expanded universe. Sorry if you're like, oh my God, stop Star Wars nerding, but just it's real short, I promise. Borrowing a bit from the expanded universe with the idea of a guy named Warlord Zinj, who decided after Palpatine died that he wasn't just going to let the Empire go quiet into that good night, and he carved out a large sector of the Empire of the galaxy and called it Zinj's Empire, called and dubbed himself the Warlord of the Empire. And these TIE fighter pilots are part of the Imperial Remnant, one might call in my head canon. I often think about parts of Mandalorian, those Empire folks, like what are they aligned to? Possibly they could be part of the Imperial remnants who serve Warlord Lynch. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But for our purposes, about year to 2 years after Palpatine has died, Warlord Zinj is still in control of a large amount of the galaxy, even though the New Republic is doing its best to free those planets. And one of the main reasons that Zinj is still is in control is folks like what these guys are going to be playing. We do have the X card in effect, so if anyone needs that, please do utilize it. But we have agreed that we will not have lines on subject matter like the abuse of power or death or endangerment of civilians. But we have option to veil many of the atrocities. And uh, we're grown-ups. We will talk through things that get too uncomfortable. Let's see. Other than all of that setup, talking about safety tools, I think we're to the point where each of us can go around the horn. And if you could introduce yourself and tell us just a brief bit about your member of the Viper Squadron. So let's start with our Justicar. Will, if you could go first, we'll be going from left to right.
Hi, my name is Will. My pronouns are he, him, as are those of Quentin Brecco, the Justicar. I think being the Justicar makes him, in theory, the commander of the squadron, right? The squadron leader? I can't remember if I read that. I think it's just the name of the move, actually, Wing Commander. Sorry, my bad. But anyway, Quentin is a returning. It was an ace during the old Empire days. He was a bright-eyed recruit who rapidly got promotions fighting pirates on the rim. And when the Empire fell apart, he was cut off from the Corps and he was forced to go private as he saw his former commanders turn to more piracy and more of the exact thing that they were supposed to bring order to the galaxy. And after a couple of years of working for Tempest in the private sector, he's been lured over back to Zinja's empire as he sees, a strong empire rising from the ashes, unlike the weaklings on Coruscant, like Sate Bestage and the rest of the Remnant, who don't really have the guts to bring order to the galaxy like Zinj obviously does. But his time away has put him under suspicion, and he is going to have to convince Lieutenant Commander Paldat of the ISB that he's not just a rebel spy playing on his old record, because plenty of New Republic, as they like to be called nowadays, aces were former Imperial pilots.
Indeed. We shall see how well that goes. Thank you very much, Will.
For his vibe, sorry, he's very crisp off duty, but in terms of like flying, his uniform and everything barely meets the regs. He's got like an inverse approach to looking crisp and nice.
Very interesting. Thank you for adding that. That's good to know. Next up is Mesh.
Hello, I'm Anders, he, him. I will be playing Atri Gun, she, her, call sign Riot. She is the prop, which means she's bought into the propaganda and has gradually come to realize that maybe this empire isn't as good as she thought it was. I think she probably grew up on an empire planet. She hasn't really known anything else, but now she's part of the machinery. I think she was young. She was excited to be a pilot, kind of bit like Luke Skywalker in an alternate universe, no force powers, but I just want to be a cool fighter pilot. That seems awesome. And now things aren't only awesome, but she's still affecting at least a very easygoing attitude. She's trying to get along with everyone, but we'll see how that goes. And she's trying to get leave so she can go home and visit her family. I think she's starting to feel pretty isolated among all these hardened career people she's been bunched together with.
Do you imagine her home planet to be, because in Star Wars it's all one biome, do you imagine it's an agricultural planet? Is it generally an urban planet? What do you think?
I think it's a farming planet, so it's like rolling hills and that sort of thing. Very pastoral.
Nice. Kind of thing where a pair of people could just roll around with space cows in the background, and they could roll on the ground and be romantic in awkward ways. Awesome. That sounds good. I like it a lot. Next up is Cody. Oh, you're talking on mute, Cody.
Hey, what's up? My name's Cody. I use the he, him pronouns. I will be playing Apex. It's the monster playbook. Bad, intense vibes. He's bucking for a major promotion, and he's just loves to be in the cockpit of a TIE fighter, shooting down anything that gets in his crosshairs. Yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's awesome. You're a terrible person. It's going to be awesome. And then last but not least is Donna.
Yeah, hi. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and today I am playing Mal Vagani, also he, him, call sign Parasite. I'm sure that's not what anyone would say to his face. He is the sneer. His vibe is haughty, mostly regulation, although with some kind of bought add-ons, bit of bling maybe, and overconfident in his own abilities and that of his kind of purchased extra special TIE interceptor. His personal struggle, I think, is family expectations. I imagine that his family is mid-tier important, They expect him to breeze through this TIE assignment and go through the fleet command, as all of them have done since whenever they joined. And also, I think the family probably considers other similar kind of nobles or whatever, imperial toffs, as their main enemy and not this kind of rabble of rebels.
Nice. So, as the sneer, I assume he generally looks down on the rest of the crew. Are they aware of that?
I can't but help think that they are painfully aware of what he thinks of them,
But
and they're cute, standard TIE fighters.
Oh, that's true. They're standard TIE fighters with your beautiful TIE interceptor. How does? Oh, think about this. We'll answer it once we jump in just a second here. But how does the crew of the Gazanti class cruiser you're on? How do they treat Parasite? Do they treat him deferentially, or do they just try to stay out of his way? Let's keep that in mind.
I think that's an interesting question. I think people, depending on how they react to problems they can avoid, may may suck up or just try to avoid them. Depending on their personality. So yeah, I think it could be interesting to see.
Awesome. We pick up. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Let's jump straight in. We pick up with all four of you on a Gazanti class cruiser. So if you've seen second season Mandalorian, they assault and take over and nearly crash a Gazanti class cruiser. It's also been featured in a number of episodes of The Rebels, and even made a brief, edited in, expanded of the original trilogy. They are these long ships that are carriers generally for TIE fighters, although they also delivered AT-STs, if I remember correctly, in Empire Strikes Back. There was a brief scene where you saw them drop one off. It's a large cruiser. You know that this Gazanti class cruiser is attached to a Dreadnought class heavy cruiser, but all four of you, are the TIE fighter pilots who have been sent with the Gravhammer under the command of Captain Dama Jassard off on this current mission or sortie. And we pick up with each of you doing whatever it is that you do in the... Oh, yes! Anish, that's why you disappeared. Oh, I love it. Yes, that is a Gazanti class cruiser. That's exactly what it looks like, except one of those TIE LNs is a TIE interceptor. So if you could fix that for me, Anish, so we can be accurate, I'd appreciate that. No? Is that too much? Okay, fine. So, we come in. There's an establishing shot of the Gazanti in hyperspace as a reminder for everyone. TIE LNs do not have hyperdrives, so this is why you need to be carried around. And you're on your way to a planet by the name... All you've been told at this point is you're headed to Makem Te, which is on our Zinj's Empire tab down on row 57. It is located at AQ2. I'm sorry I'm throwing out a bunch of stuff that people just watching have no idea what I'm talking about. So it's on the eastern side of Zinj's Empire. You came from an undisclosed location somewhere in the core of Zinj's Empire, and so you're going to be on the Gravhammer for a few hours before you arrive. You're going to be there for a plot amount of time that does not reach an actual downtime phase. You have traveled with the Gravhammer a few times as the Viper Squadron, which means that you're aware of the principal figures. Captain Dama Jassard, who is pretty watchful and suspicious member of the Empire, even though she's the captain of a Gazanti class cruiser. She is always checking up on things, watching cams, checking reports. She, while she is a very staunch part of the Imperial regime, she does have a Lepi, those are the rabbit, anthropomorphic rabbit folks. She has a Lepi as her pilot, which is out of the ordinary and maybe has caused her problems in the past. The Lepi is a slave to this ship. She comes with the ship, and they call her Lieutenant Hopper because no one has bothered to dignify her with her own name. They just call her Hopper. She's short. She's always upbeat, except when you tell her to stop being upbeat and shut up. The head of the fire team, there is a fire team on the Grav Hammer. The head of the fire team is Corporal Jallo Javal, or JJ. He is, well, let's ask a question here to find a little bit about JJ. Since Riot, you are a generally upbeat, trying your best kind of person. How your interactions with JJ, the corporal, have those been overall positive? Has he hit on you, or has he made fun of your agricultural background? Oh, sorry, that's Undish. That comes from agriculture. So it made fun of you and your intensity.
I think yes to all of those. I think we generally get along well. Getting kind of a jock vibe from him. But I think he hit on me, but I kind of deflected and laughed it off. And at least from my perspective, he didn't take the rejection seriously. It wasn't like a big deal or anything. And I mean, there's some mutual teasing, I guess, a little bit of ribbing, like I'm from an agricultural planet. I think he's from like a swamp planet or something.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome.
So we're kind of ribbing each other about that. But I think we generally get along fairly well, but we don't like hang out all the time.
Okay. Do you participate in his ongoing games of Sabak that he has or hosts?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then the last stable member of the Grav Hammer, because often the Grav Hammer will cycle in different crew members with the Steadfast, which is your heavy class cruiser. But the chief engineer for the Grav Hammer at Dame Jassar's insistence is a guy by the name of Grace Lago. Graze, but often people will just call him Grace. He is a very meticulous engineer who always is just a little bit worried about things going wrong. And just put this out among the three who we haven't heard from about the crew, which means that I'm asking this question of either Apex, Parasite, or Tempest. Who often spends time in the engine, in kind of the aft or the area where the engineer is often working with a few new scrubs, because Jassard constantly cycles in new trainees to work for him.
Do you think Apex would be at all? I feel like it's obviously not the sneer, right? They don't seem like the type to get their hands dirty by hanging around in the engine compartments.
Yeah. Apex, I could see that. I could see it. I think Apex appreciates the methodicalness of Grace. And he likes the loudness of being near the engines. It keeps the voices, it keeps the impulses at bay that he best work out in a cockpit.
Nice. Where does our sneer spend his time during this jaunt?
I I think, I mean, it's a small ship, right? So there's not that many places to be around. But I think he hangs around on the bridge if it's allowable, wanting to keep tabs on what's really going on, and maybe talk to the captain about how unreliable Tempest is.
Nice. I think Gisard definitely is happy to have our parasite on there. Although I do think she calls you, Mal. She
Mal.
probably just
Yeah.
calls you Mal. Do you call her Captain Gisard or do you call her Dama?
I think Captain Gisard, even
Okay.
If she tells me to call her by her first name, it's still Captain Gisard.
Okay. Cool.
If we're
So we pick up
public
we
space.
know exactly, and there are in the setup in the cockpit is pretty tight. It's not really a bridge; it's more of a cockpit. There's pilot, co-pilot, and then a section where she will often look over their shoulders and then move over and check out sensors and the like. So she's constantly moving around, but maintains a conversation with you, and it's pleasant. It's not like she's offering you drinks or any refreshments, but she chats with you. And this is where Rich struggles a little bit. I'm so used to Zoom where I can look at the player and see the player character's name, but I can't do that in Google Meet. So I will struggle for a moment or two until I reorient myself and memorize people's names. So I'm just saying that up ahead in case there's that weird pregnant pause. I haven't lost my place. I've just lost who I'm talking to because I haven't memorized it yet. But cool. So she'll be chatting with Mal about, well, this should be easy. Dealing with pirates is nothing for me to worry about, although you guys will be doing most of the work. Do you have any concerns about Viper being able to take out the defenses of a small space station, are you, Mal?
Well, I'm sure Viper Squadron is up to it, but without a TIE bomber or something with some heavy hitting power, it might take longer than we'd like to take care of a space station. Who knows what kind of unauthorized enhancements these pirates have made? But I'm sure we'll manage.
And this is where Rich pulls back to say, your mission is going to be take out a space station. If anyone wants to retroactively choose a different tie, you absolutely have that as an option.
Yeah, that seems like a sensible
because that's a real good
military
point
plan,
that
right?
Donna brought up there.
We left the bombers at home. Sorry, guys. Like, make fast. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with. I'm happy to go with a TIE bomber. I'd happily maybe be like the bomber with my escort, right, or something. We don't all have to be bombers.
Yeah, I think Apex never swaps out the vehicle. It's his he stays in his TIE, for blowing up other starfighters, not for any sort of objectives.
Nice. Cool. Okay. TIE bomber. You've got a TIE bomber, so we can amend that. Ends up on the cutting room floor, but that's a good point. Cool. Let's cut to Tempest. Where is it that Tempest spends his time?
I think Tempest is a regular at the Sabak table with JJ and Riot. I think he's a pretty good Sabak player. Because he used to work like on a station with a casino, from what I remember. I think.
Oh yeah, that feels right. It definitely had one.
Yeah, and he spends most of his time, I think, trying to stay the hell away from Parasite. Wherever Parasite is where he's not.
Nice. So then we'll pick up around the sabak table just so I can get a die roll on the table. Let's say the sabak table. I don't imagine that they've got an actual official table. So we've got Riot and Tempest participating in a not officially authorized game of sabak with a couple of other troopers who are going to mum's the word. Do we imagine that you're like hunkered over a barrel playing sabak? Do you have an actual conference table that you converted for the game, or is it in someone's barracks? And I imagine the barracks are like really tight, like submarine barracks, where it's pretty much just a cot and maybe a little work table.
I was thinking maybe the mess hall, like a table in the mess hall, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
Which isn't going to be big either, right? But like, it's probably going to be the biggest space because then you can also have like a bunch of other people like sat around watching the sabak game and like hanging out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you know, Quint is somehow managed to make the you know, the very uncomfortable looking Imperial chairs, all solid metal and chrome, right? But he's got one propped up with leaning against the table with his feet up, and the other one, and he's leaned sideways across the deck with his sabak cards out, and just staring over at Riot and being like, "Come on, Rook, make your move."
Cool. All right. So, Riot, you're set up. We're going to do an action roll here. I'm the Sky Marshal. I forgot to say earlier. That's what the GM's called in this game. Unless you hate fun, then you can call yourself a GM. It says that in the PDF, friends. I thought that was funny. We're going to call this a moderate risk, the risk being losing a bit of credits or losing face in with this fire team. We'll call this a standard effect. The mechanics are similar to Force in the Dark, but I have no problems. You're going to roll a bunch of d6s. You're going to try to keep the highest die. What is your action that you feel Apex is? Oh, I'm sorry, not Apex. Riot is using here.
Ooh, let me check.
I think, yeah, and if you look at like triggers, attack, coordinate, and lead. So attack. If you're playing a very aggressive style of sabak, you could say that. But if you're trying to influence people and you got a lot of bluffs, you might be calm. Or if you're trying to evade everybody else's observations, you could do that. Or if you're just trying to get a read on the situation and think through the math, then you could do scan. So I think any of the actions is just really about how you envision Riot's approach.
Yeah. I think Riot is in the game more for the social aspect than for like playing for high stakes or anything. But I think she's trying to hide that. So she's occasionally she'll make a big move, but mostly she's just playing for small stakes. When there's a big move, she generally gets out of it.
Nice. She folds when the blinds get too high, and she's just there to stay in the game. Awesome. Give us a jink. Give us a jink. That means you've got 2 dots in jink. You're going to be rolling. I'm sorry. I know you know most of the Sundays you've ran Stars in the Dark, but I'm more like you're going to roll 2 dice. Now there are ways to add more dice to your rolls, but that's special actions. Generally, though, it consumes supremacy, which is not stress, but a different thing that you currently only have. Everybody has 1 supremacy unless you started with 2. I think our monster starts with 2. Everybody else should just have 1. So our Justicar, I just ticked 1 for you. Other ways to get dice is you could ask for it's called a danger zone. It is this game's version of a devil's bargain, and that will give you a d6. Or if you're looking to some assistance from Tempest, I don't know why you would, because I think I'll give it to you, but that's just, that could just be me guessing. They could spend a supremacy to do that, and yeah, that's what you've got. So you can roll the 2 dice, or you could try to figure out another way to get more dice.
I'm just gonna roll the 2 dice.
All right.
We'll see how that goes. That's a 6.
That is a 6. So with a 6, a full success, you achieve your goal. Now, your goal wasn't exactly to win, it was to gain a connection. With this connection, do you want to have a connection to one of the stormtroopers who becomes a little vulnerable to you? Do you want to ask a question of JJ or of Tempest as a result from being successful at this role? What would you like as your positive
Asking
result, full success?
Tempest the question is obviously very tempting. Yeah, I think I make a big show of checking my cards and that sort of thing, and then kind of and just folding, and as you're kind of gathering your chips, it's like, what you gonna spend all your big money on?
Well, I admit, don't tell Parasite this, but I am slightly jealous of that interceptor. Enough of your money, I'm sure I can bribe the right people to get one of them of my own.
You'll have to win many more hands of this than you've done so far.
Luckily, I'm stationed with you, Riot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Nice. How many sorties do you imagine the two of you run together? Less than a half dozen? More than a half dozen?
I get the impression that Riot's relatively new to the service, right? And I think I'm relatively new back to service in Zinja's empire. So I'd probably go with less than half a dozen, you know?
It's one of your first real sorties together as Viper Squadron.
Yeah, and I think they've been pretty milk runny so far, you know?
Patrols, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and people who folded, right? You know, like if the sorties go and
exactly.
some people just surrender the second they see the cruiser show up.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I like that a lot. And then let's swing back to our last little scene here before we jump into some action. Let's swing back to Apex. Where do we find Apex? We've agreed you were cool with the idea of him hanging out in the aft around the engines because it's nice and loud. What's he do?
I think Apex, if he's asked to help with whatever, if Grace asks him to do some manual labor, just kind of help keep things clean, whatever, he'll do it. But he doesn't overly volunteer himself. Although in the past couple of cycles, he started to take more of an interest. He's bucking for a promotion after all, so he's looking for ways he can help. And I think he's just he's not great at it. He's not great at being a go-getter. So he's probably down here helping, move tools around or getting very basic anything that somebody who's only trained in a starfighter can help than engineers do.
Nice. So you're there, and Grays is working on. He's got a coupling that he's trying to get fixed back on. He's done some kind of repairs on the stuff underneath it, and he's trying to get the coupling refixed. And he says, "Lieutenant, I can use your assistance. Can you help? I just need you to hold it secure while I hydrospan it back in."
Yes, of course. I can do that. Hold on, let me reach my arms and there go. Go ahead.
So it's one of those where he kind of pulls your hand over, like, I need you to hold it here, and if you could keep it tight, thank you. He starts ratcheting in some things, and the two of you, like, he doesn't. You notice that he's leaned in and his shoulder is touching you. Do you shy from that touch, or do you just ignore it?
Ignore it. I think, yeah, ignore it. Just working in close proximity. Nothing special.
I've never flown a ship before. What's your favorite part? He says he's kind of ratcheting things together.
Favorite part? It's all my favorite part. It's the best part of living. The ion engines sending you shooting across the stars. The stick in your hand. The bolts raining down on the rebel. It's so sweet.
Do like the sound of the ion engines, both of them working in concert. Ah, there, we got it. Thank you, Lieutenant. I appreciate it. He steps back and casts his eyes down because he knows, don't look at Apex for too long, otherwise things will get uncomfortable. Cool. All right, that's great. So the next thing you hear is a klaxon, not the warning that something terrible is going, but just more of a grab your attention. And Captain Dama Jassard comes over and says, "All right, Viper Squadron, crew of the Gravhammer, let me remind you of the sortie. The Negotiable, a space station located in orbit over Markham Tay, has been hosting smugglers and pirates. We will be taking it out. Oh, expectation is that the majority of the denizens of this space station will flee like rats. Let them. Enemy ships are allowed to escape from battle, best to carry the word of our swift fury. We must complete this mission of taking out the negotiable space station, making it inoperable, taking it out of orbit, or there will be hell to pay with the commander. We're coming out of hyperspace shortly, traversing the rest of the system, and we will head directly into combat. I expect there will be interceptors, and the negotiable itself has a battery of short-range missiles, an EMP turret, and repair drones. So be prepared. This will be a hectic battle, but more glory for all of us. Captain Jassad out. And then clock starts, and you see like a little in Arabish along several of the displays, the countdown clock to come out of hyperspace. And with that, we will take our first break. It is 40 after, and there's no way to pause this, so I'm just going to keep the recording going. Let's meet back in 10 minutes. See you guys in 10. Hey, Donna.
Hey.
Glad
You're
to see how this goes.
yeah. I was having a quick look at the sortie rules and you know arcs of fire and all that kind of stuff.
There's some stuff.
There's lots. Yeah.
Yes! Success! Did
Oh,
it.
but now we
I'm so
need a
proud of you.
bomber, right?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I have the bomber miniature,
Oh.
but it doesn't fit. It has this.
Oh, okay.
It has this. Let me see if I can.
Oh, it keeps cutting out with the
Yeah.
background.
It has this extra little thing near the peg, so it doesn't fit in the fitting.
No worries. Cool. You're the best. Take an advance, Anish.
That was an entirely unreasonable request by Rich
It was.
that you delivered on.
Holy shit!
Trying-
Wow.
I was impressed.
Okay, I think I've even vaguely got a grasp on some of these talents now as well in the interim. Like
Oh, good.
what determination rolls are effectively resist rolls, aren't they, from Blades? But slightly
Yes.
differently managed. You need supremacy to trigger some of them.
Yeah,
Like,
supremacy and stress are separate things. You can only generate supremacy during sorties, and then you carry in your remaining supremacy over to downtime phases. But then the next time you hit a sortie, you reset to 1.
and supremacy
It's
is
an
a
interesting
resource that you
cycle.
gather rather than a resource that you tick off. Like, yeah. I couldn't hear you at all then when you spoke, Rich.
You could hear me all when I spoke.
I couldn't hear you. No, you kept cutting out for me.
Oh,
It was weird.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because your video didn't at all, which normally it's linked, right? But
Yeah. I appreciate you guys being my guinea pigs for trying out Google Meet. I'm not blown away. There's some things that I like about it, but there are more things I dislike about it, unfortunately.
what was it we used originally? Google
Hangouts way back
Hangout.
in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was on its way out, I think, as I started using it. But I recall that not being bad.
I mean,
But then it was very
Dice Roller
different.
too, right? Which was
Yeah. Although now I think about it, I'm like, but I also used to use it in that way where the person speaking became the focus, but then I think you could still see the other faces around it, as opposed to it filling up the whole screen, which they seem to be the common way now.
There's so many things that we've lost. So many things.
So much for do no evil.
And the recording, at least when I went and rechecked one of the recordings, it's spotlight on whoever is talking. So it's just like camera switches like crazy. It's getting closer and closer to me pulling the plug and just running back to Zoom. But since I have this as part of upgrading my Google OneDrive, I wanted to at least see, could I save myself $120? And I think I'm paid $10 a month for the Zoom features at current. So there's that. Let's jump in. I'm going to do a quick screen share to show you guys a couple of the things on the Character Keeper before we jump into this as you're coming out of hyperspace. Wait, don't want to show this one? Yeah, hopefully this is the one. Oh, okay. So this one. You guys see the sortie combat phase and rules? Yeah, that's what I'm showing. All right. Oh yeah. All right, there we go. Sorry, I have the tab up twice, so I made sure to make sure that the one I'm moving around with is what I meant to. There is a goodly amount of stuff going on in the sortie. Your sortie right now, your objective is to destroy the negotiable space station or knock it out of orbit. This is the space station. The way that things work, and if each of you could stick in your pilot call sign here, because where you are in relation to each tally or objective matters for the risk that you're engaging, and shifting yourself around in these arcs is part of the game. So I'm going to be using these like tokens for each of you. So Riot, you're the green one. Parasite, you're the orange one. Tempest, you're the purple, which means that Apex, you are yellow, like a pea. Does that make you mad, Apex? Because I know you like to be mad. So you're going to be rolling to try to hit the objective clock. And once you filled out the objective clock, you have defeated the threat. Each of these threats, I'm supposed to be open about this. Each of these threats have specials. These are the specials I have access to for the interceptors, which are the ships that come as you guys come out of orbit, out of hyperspace, and you're heading towards the negotiable space station. They try a few attempts to communicate with you guys, and Captain Dussard says, we are here to demonstrate that the Empire is angry with you. And that's it. She cuts them off at that point. And so these interceptors, a few of them come out towards you guys for the first. So the stakes are, you can allow the enemies to escape if they want. It's really, you're just after the negotiable itself. And the Grav Hammer needs to complete the mission, or the fire team and the flight wing will both gain an extra sedition on the clock. For sorties rules, you start off with a what is the you just mentioned it a second ago, Will, the opening roll to see your position. Is that where sorties
Roll.
So ship, I lay out the cards. We move from left to right. You've established the objective and a danger clock, but that's okay. We're just doing an objective clock. The tally to the far left is the active opponent. I select an action based on the circumstances. And then player turns. On the player's turn, you spend your agility points to shift which arc you occupy relative to all the tallies in the battle. Dogfights are fast, and so each round your arc will change somewhat. And part of my thing is to move you around to more dangerous arcs, and you spend rolls to try to keep that from happening. And whenever you roll, you gain supremacy on rolls. Let's see, on an action roll while in the cockpit, your supremacy is 1. On a 4 or 5, if that's the best of your die rolls, you gain 1. On a 6, you gain 2 supremacy. On 2 6s, you gain 3 supremacy. So a critical. Hopefully that all makes some sense. Let's go ahead and start the clock. So let's see. I go first. I've laid out the cards, which I've shown to you. That's the negotiable sortie tab. The objective is established. The tally to the far left is the active opponent. I'm going to select an action based on the circumstances of the story. And I think that the action these guys are going to use is they're reaching out over the comms and saying, "Hey, we're not sure what's going on here." They're giving up their initial hit in attempts to try to negotiate. We're not sure what's going on or who you're after. If you just tell us who you're angry with, we'll turn them over. That is their opening sortie, is attempting to negotiate. So we will start with our sneer. All of you have hopped into your cockpits and taken off from the Gazanti class cruiser at the beginning of this sortie. The first question I have, Donna, for our sneer for Parasite, do you have any personal affects in the cockpit when we see you about to take your first action here?
I mean, the TIE fighter cockpits seem particularly Spartan, in relation to what we usually see. But I think there's like a maybe the kind of the joystick or whatever we call it, the control column on this is a slightly upgraded one with like molded grips or whatever that make them much nicer to control.
That's awesome.
It's
Cool.
only
I love it.
29 credits on Empire Bay, right?
But it looks so much more expensive. It really is classy. Cool. Good. So what would you like to do with your first action? I felt like there was a engagement roll. Am I wrong on that?
I saw something called a
There's
scramble roll. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Scramble roll. Thank you. All right. So we need to do our scramble roll. Is that in our... Sorry, this is the first time we're running it, and I apologize. I've already screwed up just a little bit. Determination roll.
You're doing a great job, Sky Marshal.
Thanks. Good job. I appreciate that, even though it's not exactly true.
Sir Sky Marshal. Apex.
Sky Marshal.
Okay. Sortie combat and downtime. Sortie combat pilots scramble in their starfighters, dancing and weaving. Nope, that doesn't help.
It's row 34 of the sorties rules.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Layout cards.
Row 37 is the actual roll.
Okay. A trigger roll? No, that's different. Okay. The scramble roll. Okay. So
yeah, but it's a type. It's
go.
just another type of roll, basically. Like the scramble roll, and then you do an action. So it's not the trigger's a skill that you might roll as part of your scramble roll. I think it's saying.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So let's start off with Parasite, making your scramble roll, and that allows you to place your character based on where you would like. So what action do you want to engage with for this opening scramble roll?
I mean, given that they have shown that they're open to negotiation, I think it's good for us to take advantage of that. And I will order them to stand down and await further instructions. If they're happy to talk, then they might be happy to make themselves sitting ducks for the rest of the squadron.
That's awesome. I love that. Then this sounds like a calm roll you're attempting here.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm just rolling one die.
You're rolling one die unless you wanted to spend a supremacy. Oh, you can. Yeah, sorry. If you're pushing yourself, you have to spend 2 supremacy, which you don't have. You also could ask for a danger zone, aka devil's bargain, or you just roll the one die. Up to you.
Do you have any? Does anyone have any danger zones jumping out at them, or?
I don't know, because all I can think of is if you succeeded on this one. I guess that they could see through your thing and attack, like target you specifically. Like don't listen to him. He's lying, kind of thing. He just wants you to power down. I don't know. Like
they. Another.
Well, it has to. Presumably, danger zones have to be true no matter what.
Oh yeah.
They do.
But that would mean if there's someone left that they take it personally and go after me, right?
I know the danger zone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I was just going to say that not everyone's going to go along with it, right? Like, you'll only delay some of the squad. The other ones will take it as an invitation to attack.
I was thinking that the commander would believe that you're genuine in your offer to negotiate. And, I mean, you're not authorized to do that, and we're supposed to destroy the station, so... You're kind of going against the mission objectives.
Oh, you'll piss off the captain? Oh, yeah. That's a possible devil's art. Here's the other one. One of the pilots is a Vegani, a member of your family.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So you get to choose of those 2 danger zones. Which do you like?
I
Or if you don't like either, you don't have to take the die.
Yeah, I like the prospect of the captain thinking that I'm serious. You know,
Okay.
which
You're like,
obviously
cut
I'm
there.
not.
You're like, what? Expressly not what I said. Cool. Good. Then you're rolling 2 dice.
Yeah. That is 4.
All right. With a 4 on the scramble roll, it's down on row 37. It's a partial success. Place your character in any moderate risk arcs, otherwise in high risk if you have no moderate risk arcs. So you're either on port or starboard. Where do you want to be? Or you can be aft.
I'll go with port. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick your little icon there on port. That's where you start off. That means that when you roll against the interceptors, there's a moderate risk of you taking harm as a result, or things not going as well as you like. Let's cycle to our Justicar, I believe. Tempest.
Yeah.
Let's have you roll your scramble. What action are you engaging for scramble?
So obviously I'm flying the bomber, right? And my goal is to get past these interceptors. You know, that's what my squadron's there for. But and I'm sorry, I'm just talking the rules out because I need to understand all of this.
Absolutely.
Arcs and things, yeah. What's the mechanic for that? You know, because my understanding is that we have to deal with the interceptors before we can get to the negotiable because of the order of the things, right? So
right.
So I probably, you know what, I think that the role here is booting up my targeting computer and flicking past the arrayed, holograms of the interceptors until I line up the negotiable. And I'm going to use a gauge to analyze a bombing run, basically.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and have you do that.
So I've got 1 dice. So that's just me rolling the 1 dice, I think, right?
Unless you wanted to take a danger zone, then yes, that's what you got.
A danger zone that the bombing run is going to take me through the 4 of the No, wait, would that work? The 4. I place my character in the lowest risk level on that best success, so I can't take as a danger zone on the scramble roll that it's going to put me in a specific arc, because otherwise, okay.
Right, it kind of obviates the role.
Yeah.
Usually make them a little bit more like narrative, or you could throw a clock on you for something going wrong. Like one danger zone could be that your TIE bomber is in a bit of disrepair, and I'd throw a clock on it that that you could have some malfunctions. That's one I could. That's what I'll throw out as a danger zone if you want it.
Maybe later. I think I'll just take the 1 for now.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and roll your 1 die. You gained 1 supremacy parasite from that 4, and it looks like you also gain a supremacy with your 4. With the sorties rules on a 4, you place your character in any moderate risk arc, so you can be against, because you have to play from left to right. You can't actually end up at the negotiable yet, but you can be at port, starboard, or aft. Where would you like to be in relation to these interceptors?
Ooh, I can be aft. Interesting. I'll be aft, right? Like that seems to be the ideal place, right? I'm sort of imagining Parasite, banking off from one direction, and then the slower bomber kind of like that, not really like turn, or it's more like the maneuvers that Han knows, where you just sort of slightly veer to the left and drift above and over.
And I'm imagining there are 2 interceptors here. They are not twins of each other. One's in a bit more disrepair, but they're the ones that have come out to intercept you guys. Cool. Let's swing to Apex. Apex, how do you want to engage here? What action are you taking for your scramble roll?
Yeah, I understood point. Oh yeah, okay. I'm lighting them up. That's all there is to it. These interceptors are getting in between us and the bombing run. So,
So you're not leading off with trigger then?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, that's
plus I
2
have
dice
first
automatically.
blood. 2 dice automatically.
Ooh.
And then cool. Yep. So I'm just going to, as soon as I see, you know, the bomber starts moving into place, you know, they're calling out, oh, wait a second, let's talk about this. They would have talked before I shut off the channel and just light them up.
Sweet. So you're rolling 3 dice then.
3 dice.
Because of first blood, plus 1 die against a tally whose integrity clock has no ticks.
Oh, it's a die. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yep. All right.
Yeah, so you get 3 dice.
1, 2, 3. Let them roll. 5, a 2, and a 3. So I'll take the 5.
Okay. Okay. That means you get 1 supremacy as well, and then you can place yourself in any of the port, starboard, or aft. Where do you want to be vis-a-vis the interceptors?
I imagine it's raining down bolts and then flying and flipping behind them. So I'll be aft.
Okay, so you and your bomber compatriot are back there in the aft. And then last, Riot, how do you imagine you're hitting your scramble roll?
Yeah, I'm now. This is a bit mechanical, but I'm looking at my abilities, and I want to be port or starboard, and I like to be in the same arc as one of my wingmates. That's just that's a different thing. I think. I think I'm following Parasite here. Like backing him up, basically. Ready
That
to
will definitely stroke his
uh,
ego, make him happy.
So does that mean I'm rolling the same thing, or am I rolling something different?
You can tell me which action you feel best works, but if you're backing his play and trying to talk, then you could do calm. But if you're trying to evade by hiding behind Parasite, you could totally jink if you wanted to.
I think it's calm or scan. Like I'm observing and that sort of thing. So I just got the 1 die. I'll just roll it. Right.
All right, you're done.
Die. That's a 6.
Oh, that is 2 supremacy for you.
2 supremacy.
Supremacy. And with a 6, it's a full success. Place your character in the lowest risk arc for all tallies, which means you get to be exactly where you want it to be. I'll just stick you in the port side with your good buddy Parasite. Excellent work. You guys are all set up. And now I am going to be... Oh, that I did not realize there was a typo there. Sorry, I don't know why that matters, but I fixed it. Cool. So these guys, this pair of interceptors, are going to be utilizing their rapid fire, and they're headed towards the pair on their port side because they can't quite shake the bomber and Apex at their aft sides. So I have a total of they have 2 stress that are coming towards you, Parasite, and Riot. Do you wish to evade?
I have something for when I protect the wingmate. But I don't know how it works. How protecting works.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, let's take a look. So you have flanker.
This is
what you're talking
sacrifice.
About? Sacrifice. +1 supremacy when you protect a wingmate and take stress. Oh, okay. So when you choose to protect a wingmate, you're going to gain a supremacy for doing it if you take stress during the action. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you have to... So protect is when someone else gets a consequence, you can intervene and suffer it on their behalf. It's on the special actions tab on ground rules. Sorry.
Cool.
Thank you. I'm going to hide or move downtime phase out of the center of these moves because it's confusing me a little bit. I keep popping to it. All right. Then there are 2 stress coming to
Can I
To
ask a
each of
question,
you.
Rich?
You sure can.
On rapid fire, it says +1 stress when dealing stress to PCs in the 4 arc. And we're not in the 4
Oh,
arc.
you're right. You're not in the 4 arc. Thank you very much. Therefore, it is only 1 stress. Thank you for that.
Which okay.
Clarification. Yep, you're in port, so they have 1 stress coming to each of you, Parasite and Riot. Do you want to eat that stress, or do you want to try to avoid that with a determination roll? So, determination roll. To resist or limit your or someone else's consequence, build a pool of d6s by adding 1d6 for each charge of supremacy you're willing to consume. So, are you willing to give up supremacy to hold on to your stress?
I'm happy to take stress.
Okay, go ahead and mark a stress. What about you,
I
Riot?
don't want to take stress. And since I have some supremacy, and how is it the usual 4+ to avoid the stress, or how does it work?
On a 1 to 3, the consequence still happens. On a 4 to 5, the consequence is reduced. On a 6, the consequence is avoided. And on a critical, the consequence is avoided and the risk of your next roll is -1. You can add a d6 for each charge of supremacy you are willing to consume.
Cool. So is it enough to reduce the consequences here, since it's just 1 stress, or?
Meaning, if you spend 1 supremacy right now, can you basically ignore it?
No, I mean, if I roll a 4, that will reduce.
If you roll a 4
consequence.
right now, yes, it would reduce it to nothing.
Cool.
Because it's such a piddly attack.
Yeah. I'll spend the supremacy to try to avoid that.
Okay.
And I keep rolling 6s, so
awesome.
Fine.
Okay, so not only do you avoid that. That's right.
Yeah,
it's the critical where you would get something extra. Cool. So you take no stress whatsoever. Does that look like, is that a fancy flying thing, or is it because you're behind Parasite?
Definitely fancy flying. But can I also now try to protect Parasite? Or
yeah, you could do that.
Then I will do that, because if I succeed, when you protect the wingmate and take stress, that's the thing I'm not sure.
Yeah. So there's a special action called Protect. It means you're swooping in to confront a consequence that an ally would otherwise face. So if you're willing to eat that stress, then you eat that stress. You take no stress on your own, but then you see the parasite's about to take a stress. You swoop in and take the hit. You eat a stress, no roll, but because of your special ability as sacrifice, you gain 1 supremacy.
I'll do that then. Like our wing commander is about to take a hit. I jank out of the way from the blast, from the bolts going at me, and I block the ones going at him.
Cool. Well, it sounded like you had a question.
Oh no, I was just saying it didn't seem like that move was that you automatically took it, but now I see it's a choice whether you want to use a determination roll to reduce the stress or not. So sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay. It's really good. Let's make sure we got it. Cool. So then they have made their moves, which was stress. 1 stress was avoided, the other one eaten by Riot. Now we swing back to our monster. What would you like to do now that you are on the aft side? You can take an action.
Yeah, now that I'm on the aft, now that I'm behind the interceptors, I'm gonna light them up. This is what I'm here for. So yeah, trigger, firing away.
Trigger, and then also you get an extra die because they still have not taken any. They're still clean, like they haven't taken a hit yet.
All right, so rolling 3 dice. Got a 6.
Nice. So you got a 6, which means that you gain 2 supremacy, and you deal your damage. So let's see. For the tie, right, there's agility, which you guys can use to move things around. Vis-a-vis. So how much damage would they do? I'm gonna say that actually I think I can find that from consequence. Okay. Trying to see how much damage each of these do, and I don't see that. So I'm gonna say it's 2 ticks. Cool. So we're gonna mark 2 ticks. Boom, boom. As you come and light up from the aft side, you light up one of the 2 interceptors.
And I'm going to go ahead and use my core ability, Fangs Out. When I tick an integrity clock, I can choose to take 1 stress and add an additional tick to that clock. I'm gonna do that.
Harsh. That's wicked. You've taken them, cut them in half just in the first. What is the expression on Apex's face as we kind of you're lighting them up and we see a bunch of fire, but we're looking at your face. The camera zooms in.
Yeah, it zooms in through my helmet, obviously, and it's when Apex opens up with the volley, it's lifeless. As he presses himself to do that extra tick, that takes that extra stress, he grins just a little bit, and there's a glint in his eye.
Nice. Then let's check in with Tempest. What action would you like to take?
I think my squadron has this under control, really. I mean, there's 3 of them, there's 2 of these interceptors, and Apex is already blowing them up. But I think the way I understand the rules is that as a squadron, we need to move through the interceptors, right?
Yeah.
So, can there's like setup actions, I think, right? Like,
There are setup actions.
Yeah, so how do I do that?
You just declare what you want to do to set somebody up. You're making an action roll, and you gain +1 effect on a follow-up action for yourself or for a wingmate.
Where is that written down?
Special actions.
Special
Column I
action.
under ground rolls.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, I missed overlooked
It's
that one
okay.
entirely.
There's
Cool.
It's a lot of rules. I did my best to
Yeah,
format
yeah.
them, but it's a lot.
You did a really good job of getting them all into place, I think.
Thanks.
I think it makes most sense for me in the bomber, right? To be there's already 3 hot dogs out there. I think I will set up. I think I'll be setting them up by effectively. I'm in a bomber, right? So I'm the more tempting target. I'm slower. I'm gonna just like make sure that I'm gonna try and draw their attention and their fire, like, because they can't, they won't want to get in front of me, but I'm the more tempting target than the one that's looping around behind them, right? So that's a jink, I think, evade.
I think so.
Roll.
Yep. Scrambling. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. You know what? Just for fun, let's take that. The bomber's not been inspected properly. Danger zone.
Ooh, nice. I will throw a clock on there. So just so we're clear, the risk is based off of your current arc. So your risk is moderate because you're at the aft. And I think that we'll call it a standard effect for this. I'll generally go with standard. I'm going to throw that that clock on you, so I'll stick that over there.
So I get 2 dice there right now, I think.
You get 2 dice because you took on that thing I'd offered before.
Okay. That's 5 on the highest dice, which I believe is a success. So
it is a success. Mark a supremacy. And let's see, you achieve your goal, but there's a consequence. I think the consequence is that there's a weep, weep, weep. You see a little malfunction. Basically, there's a gauge that's starting to go up faster than it should. And that's your notification.
I do some, as I fly in front of them and they like draw their fire just as they're lining up with cannon on a Apex, they're following his strafing run, right? Like, I go and like I fly past them, and then I try and like I do like a roll in the bomber, and I push the bomber to like harder than like to the capacity, and like the gauges go up to the red, calmly pulls it down, and then suddenly one of the engines goes at the back and like flickers, and then all those lights and stuff come on, and I'm just start crepping Zalo.
Love it. Love it. Love when you throw out the cref. So you're doing a setup, so you're not doing actual damage to them yet. But
No.
setup, you gain yourself a +1 on your next roll to harm them.
I give I'm or a wingmate, so I would give
or a
my
wingmate.
+1 to I mean, I'm happy to say to whoever lines up the next attack, right? I leave it to the Sky Marshal whether or not I need to declare a wingmate in particular.
That's fine. I'm okay with you doing the setup in general to draw their attention away. I think
I can
it's
spend
time
agility, right?
You can spend agility to move yourself in fire arcs.
But I'm already in the best fire arc I could be, like in the aft, I guess.
Yeah, you made a really good, and they haven't shifted yet. They're getting.
Well, that's the thing. I'm the tempting target, but I keep hitting the brakes, and that's what's ramming the engine, right? I keep ducking back behind them, and then they have to loop back around again. Like it's just a continual cycle. And I have as an ability, Wing Commander at the start of my turn, I may grant any one wingmate +1 agility on the next turn. For whatever's sake, I will grant that to Apex for whatever it's worth. Because he's technically my wing. He's technically my wingman at the moment.
True, that's true. Cool. Let's swing to Parasite. What action would you like to take before we clear out the round? Because if I'm right, I think Apex and Riot have both gone, but Parasite, you haven't taken action other than getting yourself aligned. Okay, so you're up.
So I think Apex's, desolation is driving them maybe towards us on their port side. So yeah, I'm just gonna swing around and let rip a few bolts.
Cool. All right, go ahead and trigger. And are you taking that +1 setup die? Are you snagging that sneer?
Yeah, if that works for you, Will. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Don't be a sneer. Just take it. Just take
and
it.
If you want to sneer at me about like how you're saving me, even though I'm like, oh god.
well, actually, it's like Tempest. You're not in a line fighter right now. You're in a bomber, so take it easy. But obviously, I'm taking all the benefits I can out of that. Or at least we'll see what the dice say. That's a 6.
Excellent. So that will give you 2 ticks of supremacy. And then you are now doing some harm to them because you were pulling the trigger, and that will be 2 harm. And I will look this up again, but that puts them right near the end. They're about toast. So I used their action during your setup. I'm now going to do their second action, which is they are going to. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you do. I apologize. I'm going to make myself a little tick of who's gone so that I can not screw that up again. What would you like to do?
I would like to take out the interceptors. I am just following behind, or like off to the side of the Parasite, blasting him.
So looks like trigger then. Nice and easy.
Yeah. So I just have the 1 die, but I do have increased effect from flanker.
Cool.
Port or starboard. I don't think that matters here since 1 damage will take them out anyway.
Yep. 1 damage will take them out anyway. Would you like a danger zone? By the way, danger zone is literally playing in the background for me right now because I found a jet fighter pilot music Go Engage YouTube playlist, and it was the second song on there. Anyway, so
I kind of want to do well here, so yeah, I'd like a danger zone. Go into the danger zone.
Here's the danger zone. the negotiable has realized, oh, we can't just roll over, and it's not like we can move out of the way. And the danger zone I offer you is that they are going to target you first when you guys make the approach towards the station.
Sure.
Okay. So you'll be the first one to suffer any stress from the 4 batteries of the space station. But for that exchange, you get +1 die. Go ahead and roll your trigger plus 1 more die, 2 dice total.
That's a 4.
Okay.
I can roll something other than 6s, apparently.
You can. You gain 1 supremacy from that 4, and you will be taking out the interceptors. What does that look like?
I think Parasite actually, like we have our monster coming in from their back, and then we have Parasite flanking them, and they actually take out one of them, and one is damaged and kind of like trying to get away, and that's the one I follow, do some fancy flying, and get on its tail and blast it out of the sky.
Nasty. Love it. Big, huge explosion, which I don't actually have a giant explosion in space as a thing. That's a miss. That's a miss on my part. But yeah, when you take that shot, when you fly through the wreckage as it's exploding out, and you guys come in, headed towards the negotiable space station itself. Wow, that only took half an hour. We are going to get through this. We will have a whole lot of downtime, but we are going to at least get through this, I think. We shall see. So,
quick question, Rich. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My starting core abilities and kill Fangs Out, which I did, and then Thrill Kill, gain +1 supremacy when a tally's integrity clock is filled. Is that only when it's completed by me, or just anytime an integrity clock is filled?
When it happens, you basically get excited when somebody, so you gain +1 supremacy. Take
Perfect.
it. Okay. Now, we've already done the scramble roll to engage. I think this is the point where you're going to have to spend agility to bid for getting yourself in position. But let's make sure. Okay. So scramble roll. Okay. Each tally. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we're moving to the next tally, which is your objective. So let's spend agility. So I'm looking at row 44 where it talks a little bit about on a player's turn, spend your agility points to shift the arc you occupy relative to all tallies in the battle. 1 point of agility shifts your arc to an adjacent. So we do have to do another scramble. Okay. Sorry. So now you've taken out the interceptors. You see that there are shuttles that are all like zipping out of the way of this space station. A few of them pop into hyperspace, others going down to the surface of Makam Te. The rats are absolutely abandoning the ship, but the space station, now realizing it has nowhere to go and no negotiations to make, is engaging its short-range missiles. And of course, as we already talked about, Riot, you're going to be its first target of opportunity. But you do now need to make a new scramble roll. Let's go ahead and ask our Apex. Apex, what do you want to do for your scramble roll?
My scramble roll. I mean, I think it's I think it's a rush, right? He was in position to take out the interceptors, and now he's not in a good enough spot to take on the space station to do any real damage to it with his blaster. So he needs to get up there. So I'm gonna burn up and speed up to get close.
Nice. That sounds awesome. You're just eager to get in there. And I think let's have you roll that 1 burn unless you want.
Nah.
All right.
Well, listen.
Don't forget, you can spend 2 of your supremacy to get yourself another die as well.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll spend 2 supremacy. I have plenty, it seems.
Yeah, good amount of supremacy. Yeah.
All
right. Roll 2 dice and get yourself
4s on both. So that's a partial success.
All right, a partial success, which means they're all low, so you can determine yourself anywhere you want because a partial says is moderate or better. So where's
Oh, I see. Yeah.
placing yourself?
I think he burns straight forward, so he's right in the 4.
Okay. In the 4. Let's now check with Riot. Let's have your scramble roll. How do you want to scramble in here?
Yeah, since they're targeting me, I think I'm doing fancy flying just to try to avoid their fire and also draw it away from the bomber. So
Nice.
I think that's Jink.
That sounds right. So you roll your Jink. You've got 2 dice. Do you want a danger zone?
No, but I'm going to spend 2 supremacy. So I get to roll 3 dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6. So I don't get the supremacy back, right? Because you can't gain it when you spend.
When you spend the supremacy, you don't get supremacy back. That is a really good point. Where do you get to choose wherever you want? Where would you like to be?
Well, I need to look at the thing. Well, it's low danger all around. I'll go starboard.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to be in a flanking position. So.
Sounds good. That definitely benefits you. Let's check in with Parasite. How do you scramble? What's your approach towards the space station as you see missiles are already headed towards Riot? And they're bringing EMP turret online.
I'm gonna kind of drift up relative to our 2 hot dogs and maybe just take a position in Tempest 6 because protecting the bomber is really important on this. But also, I know it'll make him feel a little bit uneasy to have me right behind him. So, Parasite, latching on.
That's great. Then it sounds like you're just janking in, right? Or which action do you think you're engaging?
Wait, if you're on the aft of me as we start our bombing run at a space station, then that's really more like you're letting me take the fire.
Oh,
better.
Really? Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Well, maybe Gage. I know it's the same role, but it's more like kind of being less defensive and more kind of just looking for an opportunity.
Hanging back. Sounds good. Go ahead and roll your single die for Gage. Unless you want to spend some supremacy.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
A 4.
Die.
Yeah.
A 4. All right. Gives you 1 supremacy. And you can choose where you want to be. Do you want to hold that until and be at the same arc that Tempest ends up at, since that's what the fiction was?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I think I'll put myself in aft.
Okay.
That's probably the best place to do a bombing run from anyway. So.
Okay, I'll let you do that, and we'll end up with the last of the scramble roll from Tempest.
Yeah, I think I'm not actually sure it matters in terms of the space station because it's got the same danger zones all around it. It does matter.
I mean, the one thing that does matter is that their abilities sometimes affect where they're at, like short range missiles, 4 starboard and port. They can't really hit people on aft. So.
Yeah, and then obviously we've also got moves that. Cool. Okay. Interesting. I am enjoying learning this as we go. That's good. Yeah, I will fly in an evasive pattern coming in close, I think.
All right.
Well, you know what? In fact,
away.
I do.
Yeah.
I come in on a by the books straight run at the station, and I open up my comms and I say, negotiables, stand down and power down your weapons. The Empire we have been ordered to destroy your station. Evacuate immediately and boot up the targeting computer. So, because no one seems to have warned them yet, right?
Nope.
So
Nope.
that's just com, I think. I
Yeah.
will take the one roll for com. That's a 6. So I will put myself in the aft as well. As I take a
Sounds
long,
good.
slow, like loop, bringing up my command computer, my targeting computer, and activating the green lights flicking up for the photon torpedoes.
Okay.
Proton
Cool.
torpedoes. Yes. Can't remember who ripped off who.
Exactly. Proton, photon. It's called the whole thing lunch. Go ahead and give yourself 2 supremacy for that roll, and you can place yourself wherever you like. Where do you want to be? Did you say aft? I'm sorry. Okay, good.
Yeah, I did say after, but yeah.
Yeah, all right. Now they're going to take their attack and their short range missiles. They're short range missiles. Unfortunately, there's nobody in the 4. They have no evasion to force you guys around.
I'm in the 4, Rich.
Oh yeah, 4 starboard and port. Yeah, you are in the 4, but Riot is in starboard, and they can do that. So they get to deal stress. They instead establish a spiked clock on the target. Oh, hot. Cool. So they're short range missiles that are screaming towards you, Riot, and I will move a spiked clock onto you. It's only a 3-tick clock. And
But I can try to resist, right?
Oh, would you like to resist this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that. How many supremacy do you want to burn to
how much stress is coming at me?
It's just the spike clock.
Oh, okay.
It's just
so clock. I just need the one.
So a spike clock. One is a consequence. You attach the clock. So you attach the clock as a consequence, which you resisted now, and then it's attached to you. And if it's not resolved before the end of your next turn, the missile hits and deals 2 stress.
Okay. So
thank you.
I'll spend 2 supremacy to try to resist.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
I've heard you roll a lot of.
Terrible.
The consequence still happens. So weep. There are missiles that are coming towards you. You have spiked clock, and if you've not resolved it, then you're going to take 2 stress. You only have 1 stress, so that may not be a killer dealer based off of how I've built things. But yeah, it's scary. That's good. All right, so that's their rally. Now we cycle back through. Let's check in with our person who's going right in their 4, right in their face, Apex.
Yeah, Apex is in the 4. He expects the missile volley to come towards him, and it peels off to the side, and that's all he needs is just an even wider opening to bear down and light him up.
Trigger, they have not taken any hits, so you're rolling 3 dice.
Yeah, 3 dice.
Now, they do have a defensive matrix, so they are choosing to get -1 effect from you.
Okay, this refreshes when the tally clears. Okay, all right, okay. We'll see about that.
So they are pushing you down to a limited effect, unless you.
Can
spend,
I? Yeah,
yes?
I can spend. Can I spend supremacy to gain extra dice? And then my other question is, can I take a danger zone, flying right into their mix?
Awesome. So
making myself
you can
a clear target.
I love it. You can spend 2 supremacy to either give yourself another die or to take that limited effect back to a standard effect. You can take the danger zone to do the other part of it. Does that make sense? So you can't give yourself 2 dice.
Got it. Supremacy is used for determination to defend or reduce their effect. And I get it. Okay. Yeah, let me take that danger zone.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, the danger zone, do you want that to be the one that's giving you an extra die or getting your effect back to standard?
Giving me an extra die, yeah.
Awesome. So you gain an extra die. And I think what's going to happen is regardless of how you come out, the stress of this, there's a shuttle that you end up basically batting aside, and you are going to take 2 stress regardless of how the rest of this goes, because you kind of clipped somebody on your
Perfect.
way in.
Perfect. So I'm
They
rolling
do not make
4d6.
it out. That shuttle is doomed.
They shouldn't have
but
been here.
Exactly.
Oh, I rolled terribly. A 3, a 4, a 1, and a 1. So I'll take a 4.
Wow. Okay, 4 is good. 4 is better than the others. You get
Absolutely
1
brutal.
supremacy, and you have standard effects, so you're doing 2 ticks, and that is.
I'm going to
what-
also do fangs out. When I take an integrity clock, I'm gonna take 1 extra stress to add a tick. So I'm at 4 stress out of 5.
Nasty. I love it. Oh, that's great. That's great. You are. What does this high stress situation look like for Apex now?
For Apex, I think he's so singularly focused on attacking this station, he doesn't see the shuttle coming out of his peripheral. Those helmets are pretty narrow vision, and it clips him, and so it sends him in a spiral as he lights out with the blaster fire, and it's him trying to recover his control of his TIE fighter. He's not used to losing control of his vehicle like that.
Nice. But just so we're clear, when you fill your stress clock, you're out of the fight. We'll figure out narratively what that means, but you'll be out of the fight, and could end up of ticking your sedition clock, probably. All right, awesome. I love it. You are pushing it to the limit. It is gorgeous. Good work, Apex. So let's check in with Tempest. See, first blood's been taken by Apex. What are you doing, Bomber?
I'm going to begin my attack run.
All right.
Yeah.
You're like adjusting
Which-
the little dial on the one thing.
Yeah.
And the reticles lining up. Sweet, as you're swooping in.
And I will roll a trigger, I guess, for that, right? Like attack,
Yeah.
I suppose. And I'm coming in from the aft.
Would you like a danger zone?
What do you have in mind?
Oh, I'll take another malfunction clock on you. That's what I'm offering.
Where is my malfunction? There. Yeah, sure. Why not? It's only one more malfunction, right?
Bloop. You're
Yep.
fine.
Will, I'm wondering because I'm essentially wingmanning you right now, so I think I might spend a supremacy to help.
Oh my god.
Aww.
More of a
Hey,
symbiote
it's
than
all
a
about the
parasite.
mission. It's all about the mission.
Cool. Burn the supremacy. Take another die. Yeah, I think
Okay.
you're doing trigger. Feels like trigger.
Yeah. I will also, for whatever it's worth, grant 1 agility to Apex, I think, because on my sense, like the one thing that distracts Tempest as he's lining up his shot is he glances over at the readout for the things, and he sees Apex just spin wheeling off from the side of the thing in the red.
I'm
flashing light
distracting
on
them. I'm distracting them.
Cool, but I'll roll my 4 now.
Okay.
That's a 5.
Okay. 5 means you get a total of 1 supremacy from that, and you are hitting them and hurting them. So
Yeah.
they will take 2
I also
stress. Yes.
have +1 effect on objective clocks to attack large ships and ground targets.
Oh, snap. Well, +1 effect. I'm going to say that is 3 ticks on the clock, which means they are near the end. Things are not going well.
I think that was a straight hit on the living deck, right?
Oh,
Like,
snap.
straight.
That's nasty. There's people like running, and one person gets thrown clear. We hear in the background as they fall to the ground. My 1 Wilhelm that I get. That's it. I used it up.
And as Tempest breaks along the side of the station, right, you just see his head track like some of the bodies out of the station.
They're like freezing up and tumbling in the space. You're asking this now? Awesome. Okay. Are we the baddies? I love it. That's great. Cool. So let's go to Parasite. As you see Tempest complete his bombing run, you helped him out, but you also get an action as well if you'd like.
Oh, do I? I guess I do.
Yeah, I'm just playing it like Forge, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Undish, the way. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the there's so many new rules. I'm forgetting the
It's
old
a lot. By the time you learn it, Donna, you're gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and you come back and learn it all over again.
Yeah. So I guess I'll follow up on that on an attack run. Maybe there's like a connecting pillar that we can now see exposed, holding one of these living habs to the central core. So I'll fly in on that. It sounds very grand, but I'll be rolling one die, so you know. Yeah, I'll just take my chances with that one die.
Just it's one die. All right. Oh, that is not good.
That is not
so
good.
On a 3, you miss. And I think that the reason you miss is that they are just double checking your firing arc. Okay, dang it. I missed that opportunity. Okay. Defensive matrix. Matrix. Nope, that won't help either. Yep, so they fire. Their twin link fire control is going to deal 3 stress to you. Whoop, 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 whoop. As you come in, they just happen to bring a turret back online with their repair drones, and that turbo laser is just bearing down on you hard, and you're going to take 3 stress unless you want to do something about
that. What can I do about that? I can spend a supremacy to roll resist, right?
Exactly.
Give myself a 50-50 of avoiding it. I think I'll take the stress.
Nasty. Cool. Just so we have it, it sounds a little bit like this. Last one's the harsh.
Nasty.
Yeah, nasty. Boom. And I think it throws your TIE fighter advanced to like kind of careen off for a little bit. Wow, screaming. And you were ineffective on that Parasite. Now, Riot, you get to see what you're going to do. More escape pods like shooting out of this space station.
Since nobody's helping me with these missiles, I don't think. I mean, it's a 3 o'clock, right?
It's a 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So you'd have to. Can you even stop it at this point?
I don't know. I mean, if I get a. No, I don't think I can even do it with a crit, right?
I don't think so. No, you're just going to eat it.
Unless it's. I don't know. Because
it's usually like 1, 2, 3, 5, right? On a filling a clock. Unless
so a crit.
So a 6 would do 3, right?
Oh, I think it would be crit. A crit would be needed to.
Or is it how many? Or isn't it 1 to 3 takes 1? Or am I?
Hold on. I'm pretty sure that maybe I need to unhide the downtime because I know that's where it talked about it.
About filling a clock.
Yeah. Clock. Clock.
It doesn't seem to say anything about.
Or is it based on effect?
A spiked clock only has 3 segments. Yeah, if you don't resolve it before the end of your next turn, the missile hits and deals 2 stress. No determination or protect special action is eligible. Damn.
Yeah, it says
that doesn't answer.
under action rolls in the rules, When applied to a clock, limited effect will tick or fill a single segment. Standard ticks 2, great ticks 3. So I would need great effect. Then, and I don't think my flanker will help here, right? It gives me +1 effect against the tally from their port or starboard arc, but I'm not rolling against the tally here. I'm just trying to...
Right.
Yeah. But I can get increased effect instead of getting extra dice for a danger zone thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So just hypothetically, if I'm doing this with Jink, I'm rolling 2 dice. So if I roll a 6 on one of those and have extra increased
danger
effect.
zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll try it.
Then,
I want to try. I want to try some fancy flying.
Here's my danger zone that I offer you. And if someone else has another that they want to throw out, you can. But my danger zone is that your action riot is going to be seen and reported by Captain Jassard as cowardly. And you will gain a tick on your sedition clock as a result of this.
Sure.
Okay.
So I think what I'm doing is that shuttle that I think so that someone clipped. I'm going to like fly right close to that shuttle and just hope that the missiles start tracking that instead of me.
Clever. That's really clever. Sweet. That's awesome. So you now have a great effect potential as long as you can roll. You've increased your effect. Let's see if you can do it.
So actually, I just need to succeed, right? I don't need a 6. Actually,
I think you need to succeed at this point.
I will. Can I spend the supremacy to assist as well?
You certainly can.
Yeah.
Cool. It only costs you 1 supremacy to give an extra die to Riot.
I guess I'm coming in, like, as I look around, I'm lining up my cannons to try and like shoot down the missile as it comes towards thingy.
A bomber might have some sort of ECM stuff.
That kind of. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Actually, I'm banging like a machine on the side that's sort of going like.
Cool. So I'm rolling my 3 dice, and there's a 5 in there. So
nice. You avoid the spiked clock. Woo! So I think it slams into the remnants of the shuttle. There was like one person on board who thought they were going to survive. Then they see the missile coming right at the porthole, and boom, they explode. But you, Riot, wormed your way out. That is awesome. That's cool. I like the spiked clock a lot. I love the immediacy of that. That's really neat. Good. So we are near the end here. Somebody just needs to get one more shot. I'll uncheck my rally, and I think that they are going to shoot their short-range missile at you, our wonderful, nearly stressed out monster Apex. Those short-range missiles, I'm about to throw a spiked clock on you. Do you wish to avoid that, or are you willing to eat it in order to get a strike and finish?
No, I'll need to avoid it. I can't let these missiles lock onto me just yet.
Okay. So spend as many supremacy as you'd like to roll to avoid this.
Okay. Each one gives me 1 die?
Correct.
Okay. I will spend 1.
Okay.
Only 1. That's all I need.
See?
5. All I need.
4 to 5, the consequence is reduced. And so it was a consequence of a spiked clock. What do we think? Maybe does it sound fair if the spiked clock is a higher tick clock? That feel good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it a spiked clock, which is a 4-tick clock. It'll be easier for no. It'll be a 2-tick clock. Yeah. Other way around.
Okay.
Other way around, Rich. All right, cool. So you have only 2 ticks to worry about, but you can take an action if you'd like, Apex.
Well, I mean, Apex wants to destroy the station, but these blasters aren't going to be able to deal the blow that needs to happen. Is there an action I can take to line up?
Set up.
Set up. That's the action I'm taking. I'm setting up the bombing run.
Okay, that sounds good. What action do you want to engage to try to? Oh no, you can just do the thing. If you want to do this, okay. There are two ways you can do this. You can spin a supremacy and just say that's my thing. Is I'm setting up our bomber, or you can do it as an action roll, try to save yourself the supremacy, but then the dice will tell us if you
I'll spend the supremacy to make it happen.
Okay, cool. Let's swing over to because we're near the end of the hour. Tempest. Let's see if your bombing run is successful.
Cool. So that puts me on 3 die, I think, already.
Should, yes.
And you know what? Let's take that danger zone again, right? And have another tick on the malfunction clock.
Yes, love it.
Down to 1 tick left on that. So that's 4 dice. That's a 6.
Oh, sweet. So tell us what it's like when you take the space station.
Yeah, I think it is, it's after looping back around again and seeing Apex like coming in, and you can see the missile turret like lock up and another flashing light, and Tempest just sighs, switches like his aim slightly, and then fires the last round of his torpedoes, like the area right behind where the missile launcher was, right, blowing, like completely shattering that arc of the station, I guess. Because I think I will definitely fill in the last 2 clocks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you take it out.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. And because we're at time, I think that malfunction, you just barely narrowly avoided it.
After the explosion blast wave, right, all the lights go out and he's bang.
You gotta hit the console a couple times before it starts to cycle on. Apex, you are able to ask. Who do you ask for help to resolve this spiked clock? They do it. I just want to know who you had to ask for help.
I think Apex asks Riot.
Nice.
He knows Riot's a true believer, so he's like, yeah, Riot, I need help. Be my wingman. Come on.
Do you have Apex's back, Riot?
Yeah, of course. We're buddies.
Cool. So you fire out a little of EMP, and those short range missiles are taken out, and you guys are successful with your mission. Wow, that was exactly right up to the end. We will not have time for downtime. I was worried about that, but I was hoping we could sneak at least one downtime action in, but we shan't. You are successful in the negotiable sortie, and all supremacy that you have at this moment you get to carry to downtime. And we will do downtime in our next session when we meet next week. Folks, we're at time, so if anyone needs to go, please do go. But if anyone has a little bit of time to do some stars and wishes, that would be great. So I'll pause to make sure everybody's had a chance to take off if you got to take off. All right. We're going to take a 2-minute bio break because I need it. And then we'll do stars and wishes. See you guys in a couple of minutes.
what's on your game calendar, Will, for the near future?
I'm playing Fearful Symmetries, Trail of Cthulhu with Lowell tomorrow, which is like a William Blake inspired campaign where sort of about restoring, mythical Albion and all of the massively occultism of the 1920s and like the weird shit that they came up with, to put it as simplistically as possible, right? I'm looking forward to that. It'll be very different from the Delta Green campaign that he ran for us, because we'll be 1920s fops rather than hard-bitten FBI agents.
Yeah.
And maybe Passions as well with Gerwin tomorrow night, which is the full version of Passions, which I haven't played before.
Hello. So it looks like Cody dropped and tried to rejoin, and I admitted him, but he may have gone away because I was literally away from my computer. So, cool. Let's do a quick round of stars and wishes. We start with wishes, so we can end with stars. Reminder: this is the first time I ran the game, so if there are any particular rules, parts that are not confusing, I'll do my best to brush up. I feel like just out the outset, evasion and the agility bits are still a little confusing to me. So I feel like I really jack that up, and I'm going to brush up on that particular part before our next session. But are there any other parts? Who'd like to go first with wishes?
And I'll go because my wishes for next week are I look forward to the video. And to returning, I presume the squadron will be in a bit of a pickle, let's say.
Cool. Oh, did you mark that sedition clock as a consequence, Andish?
I will do that now. Sorry, I forgot about that.
It's okay. I almost forgot. Hey, Cody, welcome back. We just started with wishes. Dennis says he's looking forward to the video.
My wishes, I guess, would be I want to see that sedition clock go up. I want to interact with the consequences of our actions, like being bloodthirsty and stuff like that, like have a chance to do that. In terms of the mechanic, like wishes in terms of like the rules and stuff, I agree with the agility and evasion, because I feel like that's a bit that I'm really missing, because it seems quite important how often it's referred to and the way the arcs work and everything. It's a lot to keep track of as well. But I'm also a bit curious about active tallies and how you use multiple tallies, right? Because we dealt with the interceptors, in one round, right? So maybe that's what happened there. But the station had special abilities that could help the interceptors. So how does that work?
Yes.
Yeah. So that I feel like I get a lot of the granular rules now, and like the broad action rules and stuff. It is purely now in that kind of maneuvering and initiative order where I now struggle. I think like the initiative order of you can always resist any consequence that is dealt out at you, and then it's your turn, and then you have to declare your agility, declare your moves, and then declare your action, right? I guess.
Yeah, and I think the agility and evasion bits is the one biggest missing piece. There's probably some other finance stuff like the different tallies helping each other that I can clean up, but that was the other. Obviated a lot by how well you guys rolled. You guys did really, really well.
Yeah.
So that helped in a way. But yes, appreciate that feedback. Thank you, Will.
My wish is to see some tension start to develop between the characters, and maybe have that spill over onto into the missions. That's I think there's some juicy bits there.
I like it. Cody, did you have any wishes?
Yeah, I think the big wish for me, aside from I need to read the rules better myself. is I'm excited to see what happens when we engage with multiple groups of interceptors, multiple, like this was a fun little beginning mission. And I think you're right. We rolled a lot of really good rolls, so it kind of cleared up quickly. But I want to see just how tense it gets when we're scrambling against, you know, two different wings of fighters and what have you. It's very exciting because it seems to be, I mean, the game seems to be a very maybe not tactic. It is combat heavy. There's a lot of stuff in the maneuvers and stuff like that, and so it's once seeing that kind of happen smoothly, like okay, we end up here, then this happens. It's very cool. It's very fun. So I'm excited to see more of that. And I've only ever played, I think, a Forged in the Dark game, like one session of it. So I'm also excited to run through downtime and see all the different kind of phases of these types of games. I'm excited.
Awesome. I'm excited that you're excited. I'm glad that we're doing this because Anish is very, very skilled with the blades, and I believe Will is pretty clever on it. So that's good. Cody went last with wishes. You could go first with stars. What were some of the stars you had?
Stars I had, I liked. I think it was a great crew. I think everybody picked archetypes that were like everyone got jumped into something that had a good hook. I'm excited to see that kind of fill out, and yeah, again, the character keeper work is outrageous. So I think that also there's something truly fun about having a character keeper that looks like, you know, the dash of your TIE fighter or whatever. That even being in the mechanics, you know, I'm looking at my character sheet, but my character sheet mimics what I would feel looking at my, you know, stick and console and stuff. I think it's just a really useful immersive tool. I think is making a great character keeper. So big old star for that, Rich.
Thanks. Cool. Anish, what about you? Got any stars left out there?
Yeah, I stars to everyone, but a star to the system for making space combat actually feel interesting and fun and in a good way. This is something that's really hard with games, it seems, to make good space combat, and this seems to have everything there as far as I can tell.
I agree. Thank you. Anish, Will, got any stars?
The parasite getting stuck in there like a tick. You know, the snideness of both Parasite and Apex. You know, the absolute bloodthirstiness of Apex, and the you know, the exploitativeness of Parasite. Like, and the whole like, you know, the way that Parasite was talking me down in the captain's ears, and Apex was super intense, and then, you know, the two relatively normal human beings were playing Sabak and chilling out in the thing. Yeah, so big stars for all that. Big stars for running it, Rich, and for, you know, I think it's you know, sometimes it's fun to learn a game. Like, it's fun to learn a game with people who are also interested in learning the game. You know, it never felt like a frustrating exercise. You know, so big star for that. Which you know, 'cause some people don't have any tolerance for like that kind of thing, right? Like, they want a smooth and easy thing all the time. Whereas I really enjoy like the noodling over the rules from time to time. So thanks.
We definitely did that, so I'm glad you enjoy it because I were parts where I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Cool. Thank you very much, Will, and Donna, bring us home.
Yeah, first new game of the year, Rich, for us both. So the challenges are go. Yeah, I mean, everyone's star is pretty much aligned with mine, but also, Rich, thanks for setting the tone by setting us to destroy a essentially civilian space station. You know, which is, you know, the "Are we the baddies?" I put into the chat is the Mitchell and Webb line of them being Nazis. So yeah, that was definitely yeah, piracy. I mean, yeah, it's a problem a lot of empires have. You know, is piracy on the fringes, right? So yeah, that was good.
Thank you. I'm happy with myself that I went the little bit of extra mile of putting a picture up, but also showing like little bits of deep for the people who are in the middle of it. You can see, oh, here's their living deck, and here's the bazaar that they have, and, you know, little things to hopefully make them seem like they're not just widgets so you could feel a little worse. And I love that one of my stars is for Will saying, "Yeah, I'm going for the Ling Dick." I'm like, "Oh, he read about it and he's targeting it. That's great."
Well, the way I sort of imagining that is that like that was the target that the Empire gave us, right? You know, that's the place where they wanted the missiles to go, and it's a case of like orders are orders.
Cool. Really enjoyed this. Thanks everybody for being open to learning a little bit and being forgiving for some of my stumbles, because I hit a couple points where I'm like, oh, I did that didn't take shape in my mind. So it was nice knowing I could run it for you guys and we could do a little bit of learning together. Looking forward to next week. And with that, we'll stop the recording here.